Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Q1 FY23 Analyst Conference Call of Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Sneha Joshi from Perfect Relations Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Lizette. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys Limited Q1 FY23 earnings conference call. Today, we have with us senior management represented by Mr. Prem Khandelwal, CFO and Company Secretary, Mr. Vijayananda Mohapatra, COO, Mr. Deepak Mohanty, Head of Ferro Alloys Business Unit, Mr. Binoy Agarwala, Head of Power Business Unit, Mr. Sandeep Narde, Head of Mines Business Unit. Before we begin, I would like everyone present to note that some of the statements made will be made in today's discussion will be forward-looking in nature. We will begin the conference with opening remarks from the management, after which we will have the forum open for interactive Q&A session. I would now request Mr. Prem Khandelwal for the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sneha. Good morning to everybody. The financial years are already in the public domain, so I'll just give a brief snapshot of the financials, and then we can start question answer session. Sales for the quarter Q1 FY23 has gone up by 38% to 732 crore compared to 530 crore in the previous quarter, corresponding previous quarter. Similarly, net profit has gone up by 36% to 134 crore compared to 99 crore. And EBITDA has gone up by 27%, 225 crore compared to 177 crore. Production of ferrochrome for the quarter is 63,760 tons compared to 58,640 tons. Power is almost at the same level of 260 million units, and chrome ore almost at the same level of 1,58,000 tons compared to 1,58,142 in the previous quarter. Sales of ferrochrome is around 60,335 tons compared to 59,506 tons. Average realization is 1,21,000 compared to 89,000 in the previous quarter. And ferrochrome cost has gone up to 80,000 compared to 61,000 in the previous quarter, mainly on account of power, which has gone up to 594. Variable cost has gone up to 594 compared to 376, and coke cost has gone up to 41,000 compared to 22,000. With this, I now request for question answer session, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone wishing to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touch-tone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. A reminder to the participants, anyone wishing to ask a question, may please press star and 1. Participants in this conference, if you wish to ask a question, you may please press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Shubham Agrawal from Equitas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, sir, congratulations on a very good set of numbers. So my first question was regarding coking coal. So in last quarter, you mentioned that total average cost of buying was around $480, and we had enough inventory which will suffice till September, October. So recently, in the last 1 month, we have observed that the prices have fallen down significantly. So I was wondering if for Q2 we will have to take inventory write down, if any, and what would be the amount that we would have to hit on our P&L?
Thank you, Shubham. See, inventory write down is not going to be there because we are following the average method of accounting.
Okay.
So whatever cost we are buying coke, all are getting averaged down. So there is no question of writing down inventory here.
Okay. So what is our buying rate right now?
Deepak, last what rate we have bought last?
Last we have bought at $525.
$525.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still the going rate is in this range, even though the coking coal prices have come down. And particularly for us, we buy from Colombia, which is a limited source, very low, ultra low cost coke.
Okay. And sir, secondly, on the realization bit. So again, we have observed that last 1 month the realization have been falling significantly. So how do you guide for the next 1 or 2 quarter in terms of realization?
So again, Shubham, if you have tracked, we have a lag of 1 quarter every time. So
yeah.
Although the spot has come down below $1 now, but for us in Q2 we may not have significant impact because we have a lag of 1 quarter. So we had finalized at a higher rate in this quarter, but Q3 remains to be seen. By that time, depending on the market scenario, we'll have to work out the realization.
So for Q2 compared to realization of 1,21,000, what should we?
Difficult to give any number at the moment. We'll come to know after end of the quarter only, but not much downward this thing is foreseen in this quarter.
Okay. And
can you give some idea here? What could be the average realization in Q2?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah. It will come down certainly, but maybe around 115.
115, yeah.
Okay, that's it. And sir, secondly, in general, I wanted to understand the demand trend because everywhere we are seeing globally there is a strong headwind as far as demand is concerned. So are we witnessing anything, and what is your sense on the same topic?
Deepak, would you answer that?
Yeah. Actually, we are not expecting very significant reduction. Mostly our things are on long-term basis, whether it is on annual or monthly or quarterly basis, more or less fixed tonnage. So not much of thing we are looking for this quarter.
Okay. And lastly, again on the cost side, so our coal cost, you said this quarter variable was 500 something compared to 376. So have we seen any further increase in our buying cost of coal per ton?
Binoy, would you answer that?
Actually, Shubham, in December this coal crisis started, but we thought at that point in time that it will get normalized within 6 months. But my apprehension is it will continue for another 6 months, this rate.
For 500 plus rate?
Yeah, because coal rate is not coming down because we have seen in different spot auction, the coal price is remaining stable.
So more or less we can say that in terms of cost of production, we have kind of reached peak, which is around 80 to 83,000 per ton.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And lastly, on the refund of Utkal coal block. So I understand last quarter you mentioned that agreement is pending and post that 90 days is the time when we'll get back the money.
Yes.
But in the last 3 months, nothing seems to have moved. So where is the actual bottleneck currently?
No, as you understand, some request has come from the buyers for change of certain terms in the condition. So that is being considered by ministry. So once that is settled, then I think the process will start.
Okay.
So maybe in a month or 2 months' time, the allotment agreement should be signed, and thereafter that clock start ticking, 90 days time thereafter.
Got it. Fair enough. So no, sir, that's it from my side. If anything else, I'll come back on the queue, and best of luck for next quarter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. That is on the line of Sanjeev Kumar Damani from FKD Consulting. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations on very fine numbers of figure. I mean, very fine performance of your
Sorry
company.
to interrupt, Mr. Damani. Sir, your audio is not sounding clear.
Oh. Hello. Just a minute. Just a second.
Sure, sir.
Is it better? Is it better now?
So slightly better. Please proceed.
Thank you. Actually, one thing I wanted to know was that how much iron ore reserve, this ferroalloy ore reserve we have got to continue with the same capacity. Can I get some number of years? How much we can use this deposit for how many years? Hello.
Sorry, Sanjeev, I am not able to understand your query. You are talking about chrome ore reserve or what? We don't use iron ore reserve. We use chrome ore.
Chrome ore reserves. So for how many years they will last with our present capacity?
I think it will last till we have our mines. Our mines is valid up to 2049 and 2055. So the reserve should last till then.
2045 you said, sir.
2049 and 2055.
Okay, very nice, sir. Good enough, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir, do we know that competitively cost of our production is at par with the world cost of production of this item, or we are slightly higher or lower than the world?
You mean ferrochrome cost?
Final product cost. Final product that we sell.
Yeah, as far as ferrochrome is concerned, we are amongst the top 5 least cost producer in the world.
Okay. Then sir, are we taking some measures to bring down the cost of production to the international level?
No, we are already almost at par with the international level, and in some cases even lower than that. And wherever possible, we try to reduce it further.
Okay. Sir, I understood this way that we are not in the first 5 lowest cost producer of the world. This is what did I listen, or I wrongly listened to it?
No, I said we are amongst the top 5 least cost producer in the world.
Okay, very nice. So we are very competitive for the world supplier. To be a world supplier, we are most competitive. Right, sir. Can you kindly give some figure as to how much is our market share of export in the world amongst the exporting countries?
Deepak, do you have that number?
No, you see, international ferrochrome worldwide is produced around 15 million tons. And we produce only 250,000. So it's not a very big quantity, but our total production mostly export more than 90% we do exports. So more than 2 lakhs. So that's why it's not a very significant, but it is significant in consideration to Far East, where we are more viable than South Africa and other.
Okay. Sir, actually 15 million or billion tons that you said may be the overall production of the world, perhaps in this segment, or the exports that take place. 15 or 50?
15.
15 million.
Million of ferrochrome, and stainless steel is around 58 million in the last calendar year.
58 million, okay. So, sir, 58. So, this is the total production you are saying and not the export of the world.
So, you see, the majority out of the stainless steel production, more than 30 million is from China, where they do not have chromer. And South Africa having the highest chromer, they don't produce stainless steel. So it's
Okay, so they are the major exporters. So sir, now I got my summary that our main competition is with South Africa only.
It's not like that.
No.
They are comparable, not comparable. Their quality of material, which is voluminous, but is different. We produce 60%, they produce 50% chromium-based ferrochrome.
Okay. So purity of our material is better.
Which we are different.
Okay. So our purity is better than that of Africa. Can we say this way?
Yeah.
Yes.
To some extent. Yeah.
Okay. So sir, currently you are saying, I mean, I heard few figures from the conversation of the last question that our coking coal prices are remaining very high. What about our Indian coal prices these days?
Indian
coal also?
Power generation thermal coal or the coking coal?
The coking coal is directly used for producing ferrochrome, but for producing power we must be using our Indian coal only, sir. Am I right, sir?
Coking coal is not used directly in ferrochrome. It's used in the form of coke only, and India do not have low-cost coking coal. That's why this is the only item we depend on imports.
Okay. And for producing power, we use local coal, sir. Am I right? No.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can I know one figure as to how much claim we have made on government for cancellation of our earlier coal mine? Means rupee terms, can I get some figure?
Yeah, it's around 370 crores.
370 crores. And I mean, it is a very long pending claim, so we will be claiming some interest also on it.
No, interest on the land portion, government has to pay interest at the rate of 12%. That is in the statute itself.
Okay. So is it linked to the restart of that coal mine, or it is independent of it? I mean, once it is auctioned and somebody pays and uses it, then only we get money? Is it conditional like that, or only a court order can get us this money?
No, the fresh allotee has to pay us. They have to pay to government, and government in turn will pay to us.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, team. Namaskar, Prem, sir. And Monty, sir. Namaskar. Sir, if you could explain to us this line item of finance cost, wherein this loss on foreign currency transaction appears twice. Once it is 15.81 crore, and again the item number 5, F also it is 10.57 crore. So if you could explain the nature.
There are two components, Saket, there. One is the pure finance cost, and other is the exchange fluctuation. So exchange fluctuation is a notional amount because we are availing working capital in foreign currency. So we need to restate the working outstanding at the end of the quarter in dollar terms.
Right.
That's why we are showing that the actual finance cost is the interest cost, and the fluctuation part is almost notional.
Okay, so if I take the absolute number, the actual cost is then only 5 crore.
Yes.
And other foreign currency transaction of 26 crore or 27 crore is only the restatement of the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So depending upon how the currency moves, sir, it is all dollar denominated or euro?
All dollar denominated because our entire working capital is in foreign currency.
Okay.
So and other receivables also are in foreign currency. So whatever is their income and expenditure in foreign currency, all have to be translated at quarter end dollar rate.
Okay.
That's why this fluctuation MTM these things are coming here, which are not actual, which are notional. But we have to follow accounting standard, or we have to do this.
Correct. Otherwise, the profit would have been definitely higher by that amount.
Yes.
Reverse of that amount. And there is no impact on revenue as such on this amount. This is the unhedged or the closing balance of working capital due that is getting translated.
Correct.
Okay. Sir, coming for the as per the previous participant from Equitas and also from your commentary, for quarter two, the realizations and the cost are going to be in line with what quarter one has been. And if you could explain to us, sir, what percentage of our sales for Q1 were spot driven, and if you could give some understanding how the spot realizations have been, and for quarter two, how are they flaring up currently?
Deepak, can you explain that?
No, actually, we don't have really spot tonnage. Mostly, we give it on annual contract basis or long-term contract basis. So very, very minimal. It's mostly the same customer with an annual thing and with price negotiation or in different places like that. It happens. So last quarter and this quarter, the prices, as already mentioned, prices will come down to some extent because the benchmark has come down by 36 cents, and even the other Chinese benchmark prices have come down. So in line with that, there will be, but costs are more or less in the same line as in the Q1.
So taking your understanding or your statement into account, if the same prices sustained, then Q3 we are seeing a decline in our revenue and profitability since the cost of production is going to remain static.
No, Saket, that is very difficult to predict anything at the moment. Q3, we cannot predict anything because the market is so volatile and so many factors are impacting, so many things are happening in the world today. So very difficult to estimate or give any predictions for Q3.
Okay.
Q2 we can, because we have tied up some tonnage, so Q2 we can give some prediction, but Q3 is very difficult.
Sir, currently the spot is trading at 1,05,000, 2,000, 1,02,000 range?
No, I believe presently it is lower than 1 lakh in the domestic market. In fact, very little transactions are happening. So it's not a reflective thing, but more or less in the range of 1 lakh rupees at this juncture in domestic market.
And Deepak sir, how are the volumes likely to shape up for Q2? It's similar to what Q1, or do we have any?
We have planned around 60,000 around. Normally, what we do in that line mostly.
It will be in the same 60,000.
Yeah, our run rate is 60,000 packets, so that is going to remain more or less same. Yeah.
Correct, sir. Now, sir, coming to the expansion part of the story, I think so. We have outlined a 1,000 crore expansion. I think so, running down for 5 years. So, and also the land allocation, I think so, have happened from the state as been articulated yesterday in the AGM and also in the annual report. So, आगे की journey कैसी रहेगी, sir? And what should we anticipate, say, for FY24-25 now?
No, as we have told earlier also, the new furnace is going to come into commercial production maybe by end of FY25 or early 26.
Okay.
So most of the investment will come maybe around FY25 and 26, FY24 and 25.
Right, sir. And the type of capex we have to do for improving the ore output the underground. I think so. We are totally into the underground mining part, sir, for our in our existing
Not
mine?
at the moment. Not at the moment. And totally underground will take some time. Maybe around 5 to 6 years. We are still. Sandeep, can you give?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you give details about this?
Yeah, right now we are operating one underground mine and one open cast. So we'll be producing both the mines for the next about 6 years. We'll be having open cast also, and after that, the Supinda mine will convert into one underground mine. So we are working on that, and already we have given a study to one party, and they will submit us the report, and we'll start opening that underground mine maybe in the next year.
Next year itself.
Yeah. So it will start only, not produce. It will start.
Okay. And what is the likely capex that we have spent on going through this underground mine route, and the likely capex that we need to incur over a period of time to get the optimum output?
So we are planning for next 6 to 7 years about 1,000 crore.
1,000 crore rupees will be spent on underground mine.
Yes.
Over a period of 7 years.
Yes.
And what would be the cost advantage, or how is the payback going to be, or is it our compulsion to go for underground mining once the open cast से हमारे reserve अगर close हो जाते हैं तो इस कारण से भी है, geological कारण से?
Yeah, it's a compulsion because we have to go underground. Otherwise, how do we get ore, further ore?
Right. जी.
Yeah.
नहीं तो इसमें पेबैक का कोई एडवांटेज नहीं रहेगा, इसमें कोई कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन रिड्यूस होगा हमारा कि ये स्टैट्यूटरी है और हमको और एसेस करने के लिए करना ही पड़ेगा?
नहीं तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, वी हैव नो अदर वे आउट, अदरवाइज हमको फिर प्रोडक्शन बंद करना पड़ेगा फेरोक्रोम का।
जी सर, नहीं सर, तो इसका मतलब है कि कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन विल इट विल नॉट अफेक्ट द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, इट इज इन फैक्ट इट विल गो अप ओनली।
इट विल सर्टेनली अफेक्ट द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इफ यू गो अंडरग्राउंड। I think the cost of production will go up if you go underground.
Yes, sir. Actually, open cast में अगर देखेंगे तो it's comparatively low cost production from open cast, whereas underground is the high cost production.
तो सर ये और कमेंसरेट हो जाता है कि अगर हायर प्राइसेस नहीं सस्टेन करेंगे तो मार्जिन्स पे फर्दर प्रेशर पड़ सकता है गोइंग फॉरवर्ड, क्योंकि हमें अंडरग्राउंड तो जाना ही होगा। अब अगर सेलिंग प्राइस में वो रुझान नहीं रहेगा, ट्रैक्शन नहीं रहेगा, तो इट विल कंप्रेस आवर मार्जिन। दिस इज अ गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग?
यस।
ओके सर, ये बेंचमार्क वाला पॉइंट एक बार समझा देते हैं। हाउ इज द बेंचमार्क? आई थिंक 30 cents or something sir has mentioned. So how is the correlation for the benchmarking, and how does it plays out in our numbers, sir, or the selling prices?
Deepak?
Yeah, actually the European benchmark, this is discussed between the major South African ferrochrome producers, Glencore, and the major stainless steel mill in Europe, and they settle a number, and the market operates based on the increase and decrease to the previous one. Based on that, there are certain possibilities. It is not just the exact increase happens every time. Either sometimes the increase actual price you get over the last price may be more than the increase or decrease, depending upon the situation. Thereafter, it's a negotiation. Benchmark price is mainly set to show the base number over which a discount is applied. That's how it gets operated.
Okay, and the discount is relevant on the demand supply situation in the market, or what factors will determine the discount percentage?
If it is a negotiated one, it is demand supply. In certain cases, people work for a year with a certain percentage. So there are various ways it is built based on the benchmark. But it mostly takes care of the increase or decrease from the last price you have.
Okay, so sir, if layman answer to forgive me, sir, as I'm a layman, sir, ये जो discount है अभी benchmark में, what does this translate to the prices currently? मैंने if this discount is going to prevail for a considerable period of time, what would be the fixed contract price going forward?
So normally it's very different for different countries and different players, and you can say it can vary between 20 to 30%. depending upon your standing, your quality of material, and various other aspects.
No, sir.
It's not that always it is 30, sometimes it goes to 35% depending upon market scenario. But roughly I told it operates in the range of 20 to 30.
20 to 30%. Okay. My understanding was 1 lakh. Yes, ma'am. I'll come in the queue, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
No issue.
Participants, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in this conference, we request you to limit your questions to 2 per participant only. The next question is from the line of Joe Shah from 7 Seas. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Joe.
Yeah. Now, Prem, you mentioned that the realization during Q2 is expected to come down to 1,15,000. Yesterday, MD mentioned that there will not be impact on the profit because the cost has also gone down. So earlier Q1 cost was, you mentioned 81,000 rupees. So Q2, can we expect cost at 75,000 rupees, something like that?
No, difficult to predict at the moment, Mr. Shah. We'll come to know after the end of the quarter only. So what kind of mix we are going to use, what of coke and what mix of coal we are going to use.
Right.
Depends.
Right. So the MD mentioned that profit will remain more or less similar. Profitability will remain similar. That's why I was wondering. Q1 and Q2, there will be any change in profit, or it will be similar?
There will not be much impact on the profitability, but very difficult to give any estimate at the moment.
Okay.
But what we expect that there may not be much impact on the profit, or at all there will be little impact on the profit.
Oh, very good. Good.
Right.
And Prem, one more thing regarding Utkal Sea. We are discussing a lease agreement between Government of India and this new LOT Jindal, and then T8284, that formula. But we in fact also approached Delhi High Court for this determination of the compensation. And I understand the Delhi High Court date is now first week of 2023. So will it impact our compensation? Because it is a High Court matter, it gets delayed and delayed. So will it impact our, suppose the agreement is signed between the MOC as well as Jindal, then it will follow this T8284, or again we'll have to wait for Delhi High Court order?
No, the Delhi High Court order become infructuous if the agreement is signed. Because what we are paying is for early determination of compensation and payment. So once the agreement is signed, then within 90 days the government has to pay to us.
Okay. So then Delhi High Court
case become infructuous once the agreement is signed.
Okay, very good. And Prem, one more thing, this Kalinga Nagar land, we have already paid the full amount, 30 crore rupees. So when we expect allotment to us, land allotment, land possession?
Land allotment is already done. Now lease deed has to be signed, and that process is going on. Maybe in 2 to 3 months' time, that will be over.
So we'll get possession of the land.
Bijan, could you give some brief on that land? What is happening?
Yes, they have gone for this demarcation of the land, and it has been signed by the government authority as well as the IDCO. IDCO is the land provider. So that has been done. Then they will go for this lease agreement between us and IDCO. So once that one, then we can start the construction boundary wall, and our EC also will start.
About 6 months' time? About 6 months from now, or?
No, sir. EC will take around 1 year.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. That is on the line of Anurag Patil from Roha Asset Managers. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, what will be our average cost for thermal coal in Q1, and what is the possible cost in the Q2? Any rough estimate?
Binoy, could you answer that?
Yeah. In Q1, actually, coal cost was 4 rupees 62 paisa. It was just because of we got coal by road only, and we participated in spot auction, and spot auction cost was very high. because we didn't get our monthly scheduled quantity from MCL, and we didn't get rake also from MCL because rakes are getting diverted to IPP. And in Q2 will be in the same range, around 470 or 475.
Okay. And sir, yes. So for how much coking coal is required per ton production of ferrochrome in volume terms?
We don't need coking coal, we need coke.
Yeah. But sir, how will be total buying?
0.5 tons of coke is required for 1 ton of ferrochrome.
Okay. And sir, this 1,000 crore capex you're undergoing over the next few years, how much will be the capacity addition?
No, this will increase our mining capacity from. Sandeep, can you give the figures what we are planning?
Yes, sir. So, with this capex, right now we are producing about 3 lakh ton from Sukinda mine, and it will add another 3 lakh ton initially. Then we can further plan for another 3. So it can go up to from 0.3 million to 0.9 million.
Okay. And sir, any capex we are planning for ferrochrome capacity?
No, we have already given that number. One furnace we are going to add, which will come into production somewhere around by end of FY25 or FY26 early. And capex for that is around 550 crore.
Okay, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yash from Param Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my questions are answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from the line of Vijay Sarda from VL Finance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, sir. Just 2 questions. One, how is the demand supply scenario currently in the ferrochrome market? And as you said earlier, we are among the lowest decile producer in the ferrochrome. So if our costs are 80,000 doing a own mine, the people who are 90 percentile and they don't have mine, as you rightly said, in China, most of the chrome ore is getting imported. So how is the cost or how is the selling price so low in the ferrochrome market? I don't understand that since we have an advantage and we are not being able to currently this quarter was good, but going forward, as you said, the current price is 1 lakh. So how these prices have been decided and who dictates the prices? Because since 80% of industry don't own the mine, the cost of production for themselves will be around 1 lakh or so. So how they will be able to cope up? Are the other players in the industry making losses?
Deepak, would you answer that?
Yeah. So let me go in a little different way to explain. The stainless steel production for the Q1 of this year, calendar year, has gone down by 3.8%.
Okay.
14.5 million. And similarly in China, it has gone down by 8%. That's mainly because of the pandemic situation and zero COVID restrictions and all. For that reason, it has gone down. Okay, so that is one factor. And in this quarter also, it will be lower. And although initially there was a prediction of 4% growth for the stainless steel, now it is in doubt because of this pandemic, not only in China, in all parts of the world, it is again, resurgence has happened in somewhere, although the extent is not very big. That is happening one. And the other thing which has led to all this scenario is Russia-Ukraine war. And so for those, because people, European countries, they depend mostly for the coal from Russia, which has been affected. And now they are going through the summer, but post-September, when it will be winter, unless that war gets resolved or something, some ways to get the coal, so situation will be very different. So with all those things, there is a reduction in stainless steel requirement. And in China, because of all this issues, COVID, zero COVID, and other things. That is the real estate problem. Lot of defaults by the people and the contractors, for which China has come up with a $200 billion stimulus package. But it will take some time and all. For that reason, the demand is low. When the demand is low, there are buyers are less because many people are like us on long-term basis supplying where they cannot do anything. So spot prices are going down very drastically because there are very limited buyers. So everyone wants to grab that thing. That is the reason why it has come down. But actually this is not a sustainable price with the high logistic cost. And the barrel price is still around $1 it is hovering, although it went to 125 barrel price. So and the logistic things have not yet come up because of all this downtrend and all. There is little bit of ease in the container side, but still container and all freight prices are higher, and coal prices in all the countries. So that is affecting the power prices are going up. With all these things, prices cannot go down. But because of the limited requirement, prices are going down, which is going to stabilize over a little in this quarter probably. So according to me, the prices will remain around $1 all over through, expected at least for this quarter and next quarter.
What price you said, sir? What price you said, sir? What price will be maintained?
Around $1.
Around $1.
Sustainable for a cost competitive producer like us, and mostly for us, and others will bring down a lot of capacities are going down, not producing. So demand supply.
The capacity will also shut, no? Because if this is a situation, because we are still very much comfortable using the domestic coal, whereas all the European plants who are operating on gas and coal, they are facing major problem in terms of the cost of power also. So effectively, if I just understand, ferrochrome prices, chrome ore prices will not decrease to the extent that is required, and it is totally been imported from Africa. Secondly, your coke prices have increased, and third, your power costs have increased. So we have benefit on two of this. Chrome ore is our own, so we have an advantage there. And secondly, we have our own, basically at least 70%, 80% linkage coal we do get. Maybe one quarter you may not get the quantity required, but still we will be getting 75 to 80% of our quantity of the coal at the nominal prices, as the Indian prices of coal have not increased. So cost of our power may not have increased substantially. I mean, I am just putting this in context to the global players, so who are all at the. So I don't.
That's why, Mr. Sada, that's why Deepak is saying that the price may not go beyond $1, too much beyond $1, because the cost pressure is there.
No, sir, $1. I am not.
One more aspect I want to add. One more aspect. The currency. The Chinese RMB has depreciated by 6.7%, and South African rand around 9.3%, 5%. So once these two major currencies which have the need for ferrochrome and the South African this, the prices have to go down. And even our price, Indian rupee, all currencies are depreciated. From depreciated thing you are able to meet. That's the part. So that is one other aspect. With all those things, with $1 around, it will be a much workable proper scenario, which is sustainable.
Okay. And sir, in terms of
Sorry
this
to
selling,
Mr.
ma'am, this is one question, just one question.
Sir, participants are waiting for their turn. May we request that you...
Ma'am, I asked only one question. I just wanted to ask one more question.
Sir, I do apologize, but there are participants waiting for their turn.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from the line of Yash, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, congratulations, sir, on great set of numbers.
Thank you.
So, accounting related questions. One I had on power cost, but that you have explained very beautifully. Second is, I can see a lot of inventory built up. So can you please paint a picture of how much inventory, like what was our exit inventory, FG inventory in Q1, And how do we plan to liquidate it in Q2, given that most of our sales are in long-term contracts?
Inventory built up, you mean what? Inventory built up of ferrochrome or
Ferrochrome. I'm assuming it is ferrochrome, sir. The change in inventory line and the delta between production and sales both are on ferrochrome only.
No, I don't think so. Deepak, did we have any inventory at the end of quarter?
Actually, the inventory is showing little higher compared to the previous quarter. That's because we have a 2,500 ton shipment which was supposed to be done on the end of the June. That vessel got delayed, so it was done in this quarter. That is why. Otherwise, it is at the working level considering our level of export.
So I hope that is clear, Yash.
Yes, sir. So closing inventory, you are saying we have zero, next to zero, or less than 1,000 or 2,000 tons, I can assume?
Yeah, you have to maintain certain plant stock. For doing shipments, you have to maintain certain plant stock. And some breakbulk shipments which we do to Korea, so that on the voice. So taking all those into consideration, in fact, we are running hand to mouth from our production for meeting the shipment.
Understood, sir. Understood. Second, I apologize, I missed some earlier part of call, but if not, can you please paint a picture on our coke inventory and blend cost for Q1 and expected blend cost for Q2? Coke cost per ton.
Deepak.
So let me tell, we have around coke inventory till end of November, and the average blended cost was maybe little more than $500 in the last quarter, and in this quarter also it will be in that range.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. One last question on the market side. Since we have seen a phenomenal jump in NSR in Q1 over last Q4, but now that the markets are back to 1300 level, and we negotiate our contracts every quarterly for the quarterly pricing, sir. That in one of the last calls you had told that to me only. So how are we looking at that renegotiation part? Have we renegotiated the contracts already? And if so, what is the fall in NSR we are anticipating in Q2?
No, that we have already answered. We don't expect too much fall in the net realization price this quarter. Maybe a little lower, but not much. Because of this lag in negotiation, so one quarter overlap is always there.
Right, sir. Right. Okay. And in power cost, you have told the thermal coal, we are expecting at the same prices of 4.7 per GCV compared to 4.6 per GCV. So we can expect power cost per unit to be 6 rupees 10 paisa kind of what we had here also in this quarter.
It is more or less likely to remain same.
Understood, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashit Koti, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Thanks. If it is a repetition, please pardon me. The question is basically what kind of ratios we have in terms of raw material inventory, work in process, and finished products. That is one. And second question is, how much of our total sales is long term and how much is spot? And within that long term, it is 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year?
Deepak, could you answer that regarding the
last
mix? Yeah, last one.
Last one, actually, almost 90% is our export, and most of them are on annual or long-term contract. Very limited tonnage is on spot, which is for domestic, although these domestics are also month-to-month basis. But as we don't have a annual contract or long-term contract, we say that is spot. And similarly for export, the really very little quantity, it may be 5% at times, and sometimes it is still lower. So mostly it is annual or long-term.
in that case, do we have a price increase clause or no?
Many of them are on negotiation basis also. It's not just formula agreement.
Okay, so it may at times the price revision might take place, at times may not.
Pardon?
At times the price revision may take place, otherwise it may not.
No. With certain parties, wherever we negotiate on monthly basis or quarterly basis, that goes on. But it depends on not only on the spot, many other aspects. So based on that, we decide. And in some few cases also, we have also some formula based where it is, and then formula is also based on certain benchmark kind of thing.
All right, sir. And on the first question, sir, normally we have...
I didn't get your first question. Can you repeat it again?
Yes, sir. It is like how much of raw material inventory we maintain, raw material, how much normally we have in work in process, and how much we have in finished products.
The work in progress is very little, next to zero.
Okay.
Mostly in raw material, and finished product also is very low. Maybe around 1 month's production we keep for our POSCO tonnage.
Right.
And raw material is around 2 months' time. So total raw material and finished product you can take around 3 months' time.
Basically, to understand how the price volatility can impact and the raw material as well as work in process and finished product. And that was the reason to understand.
As far as raw material is concerned, the major raw material which is chrome is under our control. And power also almost 60-70% we are using washer reject, which is also under our control. So 30% of e-auction coal, the price may go up a little bit. And as far as coke is concerned, again we are dependent on the foreign market. So around I can say 50-60% raw material cost is under our control, and balance we are open to market vagaries.
Right, sir. Thanks for throwing light on the same.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anand Patel from Arman Investments. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir, and congratulations for a wonderful result. Sir, my question is, now we are as a cash-rich company, so we have formed any dividend payout policy?
Oh, dividend payout policy is already there, Anand. You can go through our website, the policy is there.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The next question is from the line of Shubham Agarwal from Equitas. Please go ahead.
Thanks again for the opportunity, sir. Just one minor question regarding the coke inventory. So you said it is till November, but in tonnage, can you give me how much is the ton that we have right now?
Deepak, do you have that number?
Yes. Yeah. We have, I'll tell you just a minute. I have computer. One. No, roughly you can say we use around 12. So it will be around 30,000 to 40,000 something. I'm not getting I don't think I'm having that exact stock figure.
Okay, but around 30 to.
But out of that also something is in shipment. So which will arrive. We have stock at plant. We have stock at port, which moves slowly, and in transit also.
So when you say till November, it is including transit. Am I right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Whatever we have already procured and on voyage already, it will be arrival in due course and can be consumed within November.
Okay, perfect. No, fair enough. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjeev Kumar Damani from FKD Consulting. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Do we export on free-on board basis or CIF basis?
Deepak?
We do on CIF basis. We do on DAP basis, both.
But sir, if we can shift our trade to free on board, then the transition, shipping cost, etc., is not on our headache. Can we not do that?
But we are working on basically annual or long-term contracts. So
Okay.
and in fact we can arrange a better trade than others.
I appreciate, sir, but this has happened in past that suddenly the shipping prices had gone up.
Everything.
Sir, in past we had one very bad experience last year, I think, or in the beginning of this year, that lot of prices of shipping and container freight, etc., had gone up. So that would affect our profitability, sir, in future, if suppose anything untoward happens that way.
Fortunately, we have many freight forwarders and all, and we work with them over at least 15 years, 20 years, and predictable. Naturally, the freight rate needs to be in line with the market scenario. The Baltic index is still going high, so accordingly, and we do work out that manner. But we never face problem even during the time when containers were not available to many people, we were getting in time shipment. That is the reason why the customers repose faith in us.
Okay, very nice, very much. And one more thing, sir. How is the production of this ferrochrome from India? In the sense that are we the only producer, or there are many in the country? Can I know some of your competitors' name, if at all they are?
There are limited producers at the moment. We are producing, and apart from us, ferrochrome is being produced by Jindal for their own consumption, and Tata, they have limited capacity, but they do lot of tolling. So tolling.
Sir, I missed the word. What they do lot of import. What do you say?
No. Tolling means conversion. Conversion. Different places, because they have limited capacity and they have taken a lot of mines during the last quarter.
Okay. So they do conversion for themselves.
From that also, there are few small players out there with very small quantity, 2-3. But major is Tata, Jindal and Balasar Alloys. They have also stopped now. Tata, Jindal and Balasar. Outside mostly. The major sourcing, most of the production is covered through these three.
Sir, one more question regarding electricity. Are we consuming lot of electricity? So, if at all yes, then have we thought of going into solar plants to save costs, etc.?
Bijan, would you answer that?
Yes, sir. We do. Our own capacity of around 4.55 megawatt solar. But the solar also, we have to go for this statutorily REC. But solar is only daytime, approximately 10 hours it will give power. So we are also going for looking for hydel and wind power, some captive.
Okay. Can we say that we are a power intensive unit? We have to consume lot of power. Or can I also know what is the per ton consumption of power for producing final product?
Approximately 4,000 units per ton of chrome production.
Okay. So then are we termed as very power intensive?
Yes, it is a power intensive.
Right. So I just request that you must be looking for, how to, because if the coal prices further go up, we are affected. So if we can reduce the price through wind and hydel, are there some concrete plans for it, or we are only exploring hydel and wind?
We have actually 200 megawatts thermal power capacity. That will cater to all power in our upcoming. During the overhauling or the scheduled maintenance, that time we buy power from grid with discussion. So there is no intent to go for any addition of thermal power.
Okay, but regarding hydel. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please note that the other questions can be taken up individually by the management. We thank the management for this call. With that, we conclude this conference call on behalf of Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys. That concludes this call. We thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.